According to a recent Financial Times article, Xi Jinping told European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen that the U.S. is trying to, quote, trick China into invading Taiwan, but that he wasn't going to take the bait and fall into Washington's trap. In the past, Chinese academic and retired military officers have claimed something similar, that the U.S. is trying to provoke China by providing Taiwan with weapons in order to goad China into a war. But it was the first time that Xi himself made the claim to a foreign leader. Just this January, former ambassador to the U.S., Cui Tiankai, said during his speech at the Asia Society that China would, quote, not fall into the trap somebody may be preparing for us, end quote. The Financial Times article quotes Jude Blanchett, a CSIS China expert, as saying, quote, if Xi genuinely believes that the U.S. actively seeks conflict with China over Taiwan, then concerns that Xi has created an information vacuum or is otherwise getting poor counsel from subordinates are worryingly true, end quote. According to Blanchett, one possible explanation for Xi's comment was that it was planted by some of his underlings who were trying to steer him away from more aggressive policies. The article ends with China expert Bonnie Glaser, who said that Xi might have made the comment as part of an effort to divide Europe and the U.S. over Taiwan, although she thinks it's also possible that he actually believes it. In my opinion, Xi Jinping's comment about the U.S. trying to bait China into a military confrontation over Taiwan can be interpreted in a number of different ways. An optimistic reading of this is that Xi is implicitly admitting that he believes that China would lose in a war with the U.S., so we can maybe breathe a little easier that there's no imminent danger. Of course, one danger of an authoritarian regime, especially one that has purged its ranks of dissenting opinions, is that the dear leader is surrounded by yes-men. My fear has always been that his generals might be telling him what they think he wants to hear, that China's military is strong and mighty and can take Taiwan relatively quickly while keeping the U.S. Navy at bay, much like Putin's yes-men told him that Russia could quickly overwhelm Ukraine. So his comments could be interpreted as good news. But to state the obvious, we can't just take his comments at face value. First, we have to acknowledge the context in which the comment was made, in private to a European leader who's not a trusted ally that he can be honest with. So a more pessimistic reading is that it's just the new CCP talking point designed to frame the U.S. as the aggressor, as a troublemaker that's always trying to, quote, contain China and is responsible for disrupting the peace and stability in the Pacific. Look at how the U.S. is always trying to provoke us and is itching for war. EU leaders should really tell them to cool it before we lose our patience and we're forced into World War III. By framing it this way, Xi can continue to play the victim while having a face-saving way of not looking weak. In the future, if he does decide to invade Taiwan, he can find some flimsy pretext, much like Russia did in 2022, and claim that the U.S. finally forced China's hand and that they had no choice but to stand up and to, quote, liberate Taiwan from separatist forces that have been propped up by Washington. If Xi does pull the trigger, he'll probably start out with another, quote, military exercise and then slowly ratchet up the pressure by turning it into a naval blockade to choke off Taiwan, which puts the onus on the U.S. to respond. I'll make a separate video about this soon. The fact that other CCP representatives have echoed the "we're not going to fall into the U.S.'s trap" comment provides some evidence that it's a new talking point and not just an off-the-cuff remark. Of course, we can't discount the possibility that he actually believes it, which gives us a window into the CCP's misreading and skewed perspectives of U.S. intentions in the Pacific. But in any case, actions speak louder than words, and right now, all the warning signs are flashing red. So regardless of which interpretation is correct, the fact remains that Xi Jinping has continually said that he's preparing China for war, even going so far as telling his generals that they need to, quote, dare to fight. So the world would be foolish to not take him at his word.